Do you believe in God? Well, do you? I have deliberated making a video like this because I know it divides a lot of opinion. There's a lot of people in this world, and there's a lot of people that watch YouTube. And I know that everyone has their own opinion on whether there is a God, whether there's a higher being, what happens to you after we leave this planet. And there's 1,000,001 questions and 1,000,001 answers, and everyone has their own opinion on it. And majority of the time, that opinion is right and everyone else is wrong. So I decided to make this video to give you a little bit of an insight into what I believe, to give you an idea of who I am and why I do the things that I do. Because if you do decide to follow this channel, or you maybe have subscribed already, thank you so much. But I want you to get the full, true view of who Anton really is. I know you might have made a bit of a decision yourself, whether you know who I am or not, if you have watched some of my other videos. But this might give you a little bit more perspective on my character. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. You might subscribe if you haven't already. You might unsubscribe because you don't believe in my beliefs. But what I will say before I get into this is that I am a very balanced person, and I do like to see and value other people's opinions, and I do value other people's comments, whether they disagree with me or not. So yeah, I can't help the way I am, I can't help the way I feel, but that's what it is. And I feel compelled to make this video to let you guys know, the community, the audience, and then you decide whether you want to carry on listening to me or not. But there you go. So this video, you clicked on it because you may be intrigued into what I'm about to say about this subject. And my opening line was, do you believe in God? So I'm going to give you a bit of a background in how I grew up. So I was brought up in the 70s in England, and neither of my parents believed in God. They were complete atheists. My dad had very strong opinions about it, thought that the whole thing was absolute load of rubbish. He was a big believer in Charles Darwin and evolution, and we even read books about it. And my dad had all these big, like, leather-bound books about evolution and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there was no discussion about God in our lives whatsoever. And I think my mum did slightly secretly believe that there was a God, but never really voiced her opinion too much about it. Probably because she couldn't be bothered to listen to my dad's counter arguments against about God and Jesus and all that sort of stuff. And you got to understand as well where I grew up. Anyone that I did know that believed in God and went to church, 9 times out of 10, they wore open-toed sandals, possibly with socks. They had long hair, and some of them were a bit nuts. I'm not going to lie to you. They were like a little bit crazy because, and you know, this is through the eyes of a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old, 10-year-old. Like my nan, for instance, really was religious and really believed in God. And unfortunately for my nan, she had a really, really tough time. She had a very hard life, and she went in and out of hospital and recovered from mental illness, and then went back into hospital again. So my opinion on religion and God and all that sort of stuff very, very much was made up for me. Didn't really have much choice to do anything else but believe in what my dad was telling me. And that all changed about 26, 27 years ago when I met my wife, who was the complete opposite. Was brought up very Christian family, went to Sunday school, became a Sunday school teacher, regularly attended church, and introduced me to what religion was all about. And I'm not going to lie to you, I went along with it for the convenience of not having an argument. When we got married in a church, we had to go for marriage guidance lessons, and the minister would be there and they would talk to you about religion and God and all this sort of stuff. I just used to nod my head and go, yeah, no problem, and basically tell them what they wanted to hear and say what my wife wanted me to say. So that's the way my journey went on. And as the years went on and as my life went on, I slowly started to ask a lot of questions about what life is all about. You know, what is life all about? Where do we go after we leave this planet? You know, how can billions of people be wrong about there being a higher power? And how can there be so much proof that Jesus existed? And how can there be so much proof in so many different variables about what happened? I decided about 6-7 years ago to attend a course called the Alpha Course. Don't know if you know of it, heard of it, or whatever, but give you a very, very brief description of it. It's for people like me and people that just aren't religious at all, who had 1,000,001 questions and they wanted them answered. You know, how can you prove that Jesus died on the cross? How do you know that on the third day he rose again? Like, what's the proof? You know, if there is a God, why is there so much pain and suffering in the world? You know, that sort of thing. Well, why did God take my mum away when she was in her early 50s? Yeah, why are children being murdered? You know, why are there wars being happening all over the place? Why is all that happening if there's a God there to protect us and save us from all this? Why is that? Questions like that, you know. So the morning of the Alpha course, so it's a 10-week course, once a week for an hour and a half. I think it was every Wednesday evening. It was running in like this church, and there's a series of videos and then group discussions sat round in a circle, and there's tea, coffee. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. And there's always somebody there with experience in running these Alpha courses, and also, you know, has a lot of education and you know, studied the Bible intensely. So they could answer all these questions that all these atheists sat around the room had, you know. And anyway, the morning of the first class, I was umming and ahhing whether to do it, and I said to my wife, yeah, you know, I'll try and attend, but I am really busy at work. I just don't think I can commit to all these weeks and, you know, and these evenings and stuff like that. And the class started, I think it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. And that morning, I phoned up. I was having a problem with wisdom tooth, and I phoned up the dentist, and they said, hey, Anton, you know, we have actually got a space in the clinic today. So why don't you come down about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and hopefully we'll get you in, and the dentist will have a look, and and potentially remove your wisdom tooth. So phoned my wife and had the ultimate get out plan. So I said, hey, look, I'm really sorry. I won't be able to do this alpha thing. And if I don't do the first one, it's the whole icebreaker introduction. I just won't be able to, just won't be able to do it. You can imagine her. She was very upset and slightly angry with me. But anyway, I sort of got the ultimate excuse because I couldn't help it. That was the only time they could fit me in at the dentist. So I went down to the dentist at 4:30. I think it was about 4:30, 4:45. And to my horror, the dentist removed the wisdom tooth and I was out within 20 minutes. So you can imagine, I think it was about 5:15 maybe at this point. And I was absolutely devastated that I just didn't have an excuse. I literally had no excuses at all. And I was sort of deliberating whether to phone my wife and say, hey, look, I've got out early. I'm coming home, and play up the whole, I'm in real agony, blah, blah, blah. It's really hurting. The reality was it wasn't hurting. It was very quick. Excellent dentist. And I could have easily attended the first alpha course. And I got to a roundabout and I phoned my wife just as I got to the roundabout. She picked up straight away. And I either had to go straight over the roundabout to go home, or I had to turn left to go. Whack the microphone then. Had to turn left to go to the church where the alpha course was being held. Now, it was a bit early, to be fair, but they did say you can come early if you want. There's tea, coffee, and I think some of the ladies of the church had made like little buns and cakes and pavlova and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, wow, okay. So I had a decision to make. My wife was on the phone and I approached the roundabout and she said to me, you're out? And I went, yeah. I'm just on my way home. I'm in a bit of agony. And the first thing she said to me was, are you going to go to that course or not? Because you run out of excuses. I've been begging you for probably in the region of about 20 years at this point, since I first met her, to go and do one of these alpha courses because she wanted me to become a Christian. And I had about 2 seconds at that roundabout to decide to go straight over or turn left. And I turned left. I don't know why. Something made me turn that steering wheel and turn my car left. And it hit me so hard round the roundabout. I can't even put into words I have no idea what it was, but something made me just jolt that car and go left. No, I didn't have any accidents or anything. It was safe, but you know what I mean? It's the weirdest feeling I've had. And I've only ever had it once since. And I'm going to tell you that little one in a minute. But I turned left. And again, probably, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago now. It was the best decision I ever made. That 2-second decision was the best decision I ever made. Because I attended that course. And I really, really, really enjoyed that course. Loved the people on the course. Got loads of questions answered. And it made me really, really think about what I wanted to do going forward with regards who I was as a person and whether I wanted to be a Christian, whether I wanted to really study and understand what Jesus Christ did for us on the cross. So I'll fast forward from that Alpha course. So I did the course, didn't commit to anything at the time. A year later, I decided to, 2 years later, sorry, I tell a lie, because COVID kicked in and I lost my dad during COVID, and you can check that video out after this if you want. You can find it. I'll put it actually at the end of this video. But yeah, my dad died, and obviously there was a period of time there, about a year or so, where yeah, it was very difficult. And I did turn to God and ask him for help and guidance, because I was really struggling, and it was incredible. And anyway, so a year and a half went on, and I got the opportunity to go to like this Christian festival, like a summer festival. It's like a 4-day thing where you all just go to so some of the young people from the church that I'd been going to. Now I wasn't going regularly, but I was sort of going now and again. And I'd sort of done a bit of like youth fellowship leadership. So I volunteered to take some of these young teenagers on this to this Christian festival for 3 or 4 days. Now personally, I sort of went because I thought it would be a really good laugh. I love camping. It was in the summer, the weather was pretty good, and I get to listen to some live music. And if I have to pray for a few minutes here and there, then yeah, no problem. That was sort of slightly my attitude going into it. What actually happened on that over those 4 days, again, changed my life forever, because on the second night at 2 o'clock in the morning, that feeling came back again when I was lying in my tent listening to some young teenagers playing, I don't know what they were playing, football, rugby or whatever, but they were shouting and screaming at 2 o'clock in the morning in this field. And I remember distinctly saying to God, okay, I hear you. You've been sending me signs for years and years and years. You've been getting me through some of the most painful times of my life. You've been getting me over the loss of losing parents, and difficult decisions that I had to make in my life, in my career. You've provided me with a beautiful wife, children. I'm healthy. Great lifestyle. You've given me and given me and given me and given me. And all you wanted in return was for me to believe in you and be with you and pray with you. And I just wasn't listening. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I made the decision there and then to close my eyes and just let myself go and walk into that lake and just to become a Christian and follow God. And that's exactly what I did. And it's been absolutely incredible ever since. So coming out from that, the next day, my wife came up. And bear in mind, you've got to remember that for 20 plus years, she's been very persistent, but, desperately trying for me to become a Christian and go to church with her and help her and support her. And she came up the next day to see me, and we were standing at the coffee machine, coffee truck. And there was a guy there who had just done this incredible speech on the stage, and he's written a few books. Great guy called Pete Gregg. And anyway, he asked me in front of my wife, "Well, Anton, but are you, What's your story? Do you follow God? Like, what's your path? And I said to him, yeah, it's funny you should say that, Pete, because last night I decided to become a Christian. And I turned around and my wife was absolutely in tears, in absolute tears, bawling her eyes out. And this poor guy was looking at her, realizing she absolutely just completely broke down in tears. He then looked at me, and because my wife was crying intensely, I decided to, or didn't decide, it just, I just got so emotional, and the tears started rolling down my cheeks. I got really upset about it as well. And this poor guy standing there with a coffee in his hand, looking at the two of us going, wow, all I asked was if he followed God. And we were both crying our eyes out. Anyway, he saw the funny side of it. We all saw the funny side of it. It was absolutely amazing. And that was that. And then I went back to church the following week, and the weeks after, and the weeks after, and the months and years since then. And I've got really involved in the church, and we do, I help out with the youth, and I also attend on a bi-weekly, we have like these meetings, like house group meetings, where we go around somebody's house and there's like 8 or 10 or 12 of us, and we sit down and we do Bible studies and discuss the Bible and what our thoughts and feelings on everything are. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's incredible, and I love it. And I just wanted to sort of put this video out to just say to you that was my journey to Christianity, and I've never felt so good in my life. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I've turned to God and I've prayed and I said, please just give me the strength, give me the wisdom, give me the guidance to help me through this really, really difficult time, this difficult decision. And do you know what the thing is, and I'm going to end it now because I've been waffling for ages and I do apologize, is that when my dad was really ill in hospital, my wife went to see him, and she read out a Bible passage and read out some prayers, and she prayed with him. And my dad was like completely like blown away with the power that was in that room at the time. And she said, do you believe in God? And he was 100% in. 100%. Yes, I believe in God. Yes, I want to go to heaven. Yes, I'm totally with you on this one. And I don't know whether it's a common thing where when people know that they potentially at the end of their life they suddenly turn to God. I don't know. I know I hear it a lot. But I'm encouraging you that if you are one of those people that has thought about it and thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, just let go. Just let go and let God take you. Let God guide you through between now and the rest of your life. And I'm still learning. I study the Bible in these classes, and I'm still learning, and there's so much to learn, and half of it just goes completely over my head, comes one ear and out the other. It's, there's so much to learn, but I just love it. And the other thing I love as well is I love listening to like Christian music. And I've written down actually on my notes here a couple of people that I absolutely love listening to, and I blast the music out, and I don't care who's listening. I love this music, and it just gets me through a bad time. And it, like artists like Zach Williams, Brandon Lake, Sean Curran, Carrie Job, there's probably 100 more, but these guys here, I just love listening to their music, and it just gets me through my life. So I am so sorry to waffle. It's probably a really long one. I'm going to try and cut it down as much as I can, but I want you to really hear this story, and I want you to resonate with it. And if you are a Christian, thank you. God bless you. Thank you. And if you're not, then I don't know, maybe it's something for you to consider. Every choice has to be right. for you. And listen, if you want to put a comment below on what you think and what your beliefs are, I will be reading them all anyway. I always do. Love listening to your comments. And yeah, I hope this video wasn't well, it's not the normal sort of thing that I do, but I absolutely 100% was compelled to make this video because I want everyone on this channel, if you do subscribe to me, I want you to know who I am. Okay, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm showing you who I am. My name is Anton, and I'm a Christian, and I love God. Thank you for watching. God bless, and I see you in another video. Take care. Bye.